It is 5 p.m. I just woke up. Welcome to a day in my life. Um, Generally, my waking up routine is lie in bed attempting to go back to sleep because I regret being awake, but I've already done that. So I have to get up and go make some coffee and breakfast and to stretch. I'm not a good waking up person. It takes me a long time. But I'm gonna get up and make some coffee and breakfast. Yeah. The first step of waking up is to turn your computer on. Today we're starting with the ThinkPad. It's so dark I have no idea if the camera's even... Okay, the camera is pointed at me. I can't even see it. I mean, easy. Turn my computer on and hang out for like 20 minutes or whatever. Then go eat. Because if I eat too soon, it's too weird. You gotta wait a little bit after you wake up. You can't go directly to food. That's just fucked. That's just completely fucked. So I'm gonna turn my computer on and check check my FOMOs. Check my FOMOs. Then go eat and shit. Oh, alright, I'll catch up with you. Alright, I'm done allowing myself to be awake. I'm dressed and stuff. During that segment, I mostly just watched some YouTube videos. Good way to wake up. Now it's breakfast time. That involves the two-step journey. The trip number one with the water. Trip number two with the laptop. You can see how much I fiddle with my beard and mustache in watching the time lapse. It's quite funny, I think, personally. So Now for the most important ingredient, coffee. This is gonna be like the 5,000th video in which I cook eggs. I just have eggs like every day. They're basically the best possible food. This cup's kind of dirty. There's some leftover chicken from yesterday, which I was thinking of using with my breakfast. Like, putting a little bit, but I don't think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm just gonna have some plain eggs. Always happens, always got to spill a little bit of coffee. Typical. It's a little too much. That's about it. Maybe that much less. That's what makes it that much less. Now it's perfect. As you can see, I'm very well practiced. I know exactly when these things are going to happen. Here it is. Normally, I would use my phone for this, but I'm using my phone to record, so I will use my laptop for it instead. Time 5 minutes. Alright, now the cooking begins. Sourdough bread, one big piece. As you can see, this is my toaster. There's a small problem. There's a small problem here, right? It just sticks out. So you cut it in half, and the way you accurately cut it in half. Let me get some lighting up in this bitch. You need some lighting. Yeah. The way you accurately cut it in half. Not with a knife. There's no point. Fold it in half. Then you get 2 pieces. One goes in either one. The curvy side towards the wall. There you go. And we're gonna set it to 2. You set it to a 2 on here. And we're just gonna let that go in the meantime. plan. And while this goes, I will tell you what I was doing. I'll give a more detailed explanation. So, I watched. These are the YouTube videos I watched to wake up. I watched. Let's go into my history. I watched. Hello. Terribly sorry. How well could an AI learn physics, which is from the channel 2 Minute Papers, about a neural network learning algorithm trained to reproduce fluid simulations. Pretty interesting. Then regular expressions, regex, all the basics. Luke Smith video about regex, regex. I don't know how to say it. Kind of that one went a little over my head. But I watched it anyway, and then another Luke Smith video because it was also in my plan to watch. Imagine using a browser for this, lol, which was about using just getting the weather information without having to open a browser, using terminal, using bash scripts, and then a Minecraft ray tracing video from 2 Clicks Philip. Sadly, my phone's kind of low. I wonder if I can do this. Hold on. Since my phone's kind of low, here's my idea. Wire. Portable battery, which I think has some charge in it. Kind of difficult to do while holding the phone, but whatever. It is what it is. Plug it in. No. Not working. Not working. Okay, well, that's annoying. I don't know why that's not working. That's fucking annoying. Okay, well, I guess I'll just... I wonder if I can put my phone on charge in the front room. That's a good idea. Let's try that one. Second attempt. There should be a charger somewhere around here. Yes. No. Maybe. I'm running out of time, my phone's gonna die. That's not the right one. Well, I don't know what the fuck to do, I'm gonna be real. You need to get the breakfast, you need to capture me making breakfast, it's important. It's an important part of my day. Here, I'll just bring this with me. Here, let me turn this up. Okay, now we should be plugged in. Charging. Bread needs a little longer. Toast needs a little longer. I mean, the coffee is probably ready by now. Let's check the timer. 0 seconds left, so that means the coffee is ready. And that means, you know, people like weirdly judge me for this. I don't know why. These days, I didn't used to, I put honey in my coffee. What is all this shit? Why is there shit all over this? What the fuck? Oh god. No one in this house knows how to wash up. It's ridiculous, really. Okay, this one doesn't have shit in it. Don't burn the toast, don't burn the toast. Just a little drizzle of honey. Not much at all. Doesn't need much. Because honey is healthier than sugar. It's very slightly healthier, not by much. And when Does sugar taste better? Probably, but not by that much. And since I have coffee every day, I think it's probably a good idea to go with the slightly healthier option. Press it down. And there we go, voila. Et voilà, le coffee. Le café, actually. La, is it La? I think it's La Cafe. I honestly don't fucking know. I don't speak French. Get it all stirred up. Take a look at that. That's a damn fine cup of coffee. Yeah. Not bad, not bad. Okay, now a plate, toast, some butter. Now you'll notice that my breakfast is mostly butter, cheese, and cheese because I'm a healthy guy. Gonna butter my bread. Wow, that was just not enough butter on any count to spread all the way across. There we go, that's better. Now let me introduce you to No Thank You's rule of food. The simple things, when they're done right, are always the best things. Like bread and butter, pretty much the simplest possible thing, right? But this is some nice sourdough bread, French butter, President butter. It's just delicious. You can't go wrong. You just can't. Next step, some vintage cheddar, which I'm going to use the box grater to grate onto my thing. I will give you a better view of what this will look like by the end, so you can see what it looks like. We're going to grate this cheddar over. And don't worry, this will make sense soon. And this looks like quite a lot of cheddar, but it's actually not that much. Like, it looks like a lot of cheese, but it's actually just because it's grated, it has a lot of air in it. I mean, it's still a good amount of cheese, enough to taste it, but it's not too much. You actually don't want to do too much, otherwise, well, you will see. Right, that is a pretty good amount. Let's do a little more actually. Okay, so make sure it's all even. I did wash my hands, by the way. I just want to make that clear. You didn't see it on camera, but I did do it. The only type of hygiene I care about is food hygiene, because I don't want to get like food poisoning or anything. You will notice the absence of a shower in this video. There you go. So that is the section. This is section 1 complete. I'm now going to flip the camera. Section 1. It doesn't look that appealing under this lighting. Of course, making food look good is an entire fucking profession. But it's just cheese on toast, essentially. And the reason we do that is because now I make the eggs, scrambled eggs, and I put them on top of the cheese and it melts the cheese. Which is why, as I said before, you don't want too much, because then it doesn't melt properly. So, let's make sure this wire is not going to set on fire. So let's cook some fucking eggs. I kind of, even though I do it literally every day of my life, I still kind of suck at cracking eggs, so don't judge me. Maybe, I don't know what the best way to do that is, but whatever. Yeah, I swear this must be like the 16,000th video where I've cracked eggs. Okay, now we're going to get the pan ready. And these are going to be hot and fast scrambled eggs, so what we're going to do is we're going to get some olive oil in the pan. Turn the heat on, hopefully, maybe even a little more. And some salt in the pan, yes. There's plenty. Sea salt, of course, Maldon's or whatever the fuck the brand is. And now in the eggs, some pepper, plenty of black pepper. Love black pepper, can't get enough of it. Okay, now it's time to beat our eggs like it's a policeman's wife. That seems good to me. Put the fork in the sink. This is a new development, is the use of the blue spatula to do the eggs. This is a new development in my egg research. So we got the pan pretty damn hot now. It's time to add the butter. This is why I add olive oil and butter. If I just added butter it would burn, which tastes bad. Good bit of butter. You want to make sure it all emulsifies and whatever the fuck. Very hot. Then eggs. Not going too vigorous because I actually want them to be pretty big curds. Mostly folding it over on itself. That's the goal here. And turn it off, turn the heat off, make sure the eggs are all nice. They continue cooking while I'm holding them, as you can see. And they're basically done. 1 second, done. Now it's time to put them onto the bread. that's it, scrambled eggs. Next step is to separate the two halves of the bread and make sure the egg is distributed evenly on the toast using this fork. Basically spread it like butter. It's a little tricky because this bread is kind of small, but you want to try and get it as even as possible. That's pretty good, I'd say. Yeah, and some nice eggs on toast. Finish it with a crack of black pepper. One-handed, no, not gonna happen. A little bit of black pepper to finish. And there we go, my eggs. I'm not gonna film myself eating because I don't really like doing that, but there you go, that's my breakfast. Pretty much I have it every day. I have now completed my food module. You can see the remnants. You see the remnants. I've completed my food module. Remnants. I actually ended up using the last of the cheese because there was only a tiny little like 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter cube, which I just ate. So now there's no more cheese, except there's more in the fridge, so it's fine. What I mean is, since I'm doing my daily routine, which I don't really have, but I guess this is as close as it gets. I just leave this shit out. And then just go do something else and then clean it up like 5 hours later. That's what I do. I leave it out. Then when I'm hungry again, that's when I clean it up. When I have to come back in here and make dinner, I only have 2 meals a day, by the way. That's something I should note. And I actually have a very special meal planned for later tonight that I'm wanting to share with the internet for a while. Sadly, I'm not sure what's going to happen with that because my mother is going to be home and I don't particularly feel like filming in the kitchen while she is in there, so I think that's going to be weird. So we'll see how the timings work out. I'll try and maybe eat after she goes to bed or something, but God knows. So the next step, this might surprise some people. The next step is to put on a timer on my phone for 1 hour. I put on a timer on my phone for 1 hour, and then once that timer on my phone goes off after 1 hour, that's 1 hour of chilling, digesting my food, catching up on, watching anime, whatever I want to do, talking to people. You got 1 hour to do that. And then once that alarm goes off, I reset it for another hour, and that's when I do my uni work. In fact, today I have to do 1 hour and 20 minutes. Because I skipped out on 20 minutes of doing it yesterday because I'm an idiot. Well, actually, I just wasn't feeling very good, but hopefully today I feel better. My plan today is essays. I'm doing essays, nothing particularly interesting. So yeah, then I do essays for an hour, and then once I've done that, then I'm free for the rest of the day. I'll probably do some work on music stuff. Probably just do some work on music stuff. And that's it. That's basically it. That's the rest of the day. Watch some anime. Maybe talk to some motherfuckers on Discord. Maybe get drunk. At some point eat dinner, which that'll be the highlight. That'll be the most important, the most exciting section. What time is it now? It's 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30. That's like 4 hours away. It's 10:30. Yeah, I can last till like 12, which is normally around the time my mom goes to bed. That shouldn't be a big deal. So yeah, this is a really good idea because I have a very interesting life that totally doesn't consist of just sitting in my room. So yes, let the games begin. Let the games begin. I need to put this away. This is not from this morning. I'm not that much of an alcoholic. Oh, this has all sorts of... Did I spill some? Probably. I don't really remember. Yeah, put the hour timer on now. Because, yeah, it takes me like a good 3 or 4 hours to, let's say 3 hours from when I wake up to when I'm ready to actually be efficient and work. So that's why I do this and don't just get straight into it after breakfast, because I'll just be like, I won't be able to focus. I'll just be distracted every 10 seconds. So, yeah, we got an hour now to let all the eggs enter my brain and make me smart. I'm gonna do. I think I know the work I'm gonna do. It shouldn't be too hard. I should probably be able to bang out what I need to bang out. But yeah. Was there anything else I wanted to say? No, nothing else I wanted to say. That's it. That's the rest of my day. So yeah, let's get straight to it. Okay, so today I am doing I'm filming my daily life. I'm doing a day in the life of No Thank You. What do you think about that?
That is very cool. I wanna see that. No, I like those type of videos though. I wanna know everything about the life of everyone.
It's boring. I just sit and watch anime all day.
See, I was gonna do that today, but then I was like, I'm gonna record this little bit for the podcast thing, the big old video. And I started talking about how much I missed 2016, and I just made myself depressed and laid in bed for about an hour.
Based.
Yeah. I want to finish Sakura today. I was gonna do it last night. I got to episodes. I have 4 episodes left.
Oh shit! Nice.
Yeah.
I have to do uni work today. But I'm not going to do that. It's fine. What?
I also became really obsessed with the baby.
Why?
I don't know. There's something about him.
His name is silly. Very silly. I agree.
Yeah.
That is pretty funny.
I don't know. It's just he has this sort of charisma to him that's really funny. His songs are shit.
Yeah.
He makes bad music, but all his beats are the most sterile fucking thing imaginable.
Yeah.
They all were made in literally 2 minutes.
Yeah, his music is just bad.
Yeah. But Twitter memes him a lot, so I was like, okay, what is this nigga about? And it's he's really funny though. His music videos. His video for Suge, right? The song called Suge, he's comparing himself to Suge Knight, but he deliberately dressed like Dr. Dre in the video. And it's it's really funny.
Why? What? That's strange.
In the video, and changed from he's like a CEO for a music company, for a music studio, and then it switches to him being a CEO for a fucking office thing, but then it just switches to him being a mailman. He's just delivering the mail.
I don't even. What's the point of music videos anymore? It's just that one guy, Lyrical Lemonade, directing everything, and they all look the exact same.
Yeah.
And then everyone else just rips them off.
Yeah.
Everything just looks like Magnolia.
That is true.
So stop.
This shit tastes yucky.
This shit tastes yucky. Do you want to understand that tastes yucky?
Also, this fucking SoundCloud faggot invited me to a server full of those kinds of people.
Disgusting.
And I posted Juvenile and Project Pat and Space Ghost Perp and left.
Nice.
I said stop listening to Kid Trash and listen to Space Ghost Perp and left.
That's good. I support your decision. Did you install Linux on your new thing yet?
I have not. I will do that at some point. I just don't have the motivation to do so right now. I have a
That's good. I appreciate it. I appreciate the ice cream. Can I get some?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, thanks.
Bring yourself a bowl. I'll scoop some in there.
No, just hand me your one.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that was pretty good.
I'm glad.
My brand of vape juice is called Epic. It's called Epic with a Q, EPIQ. Just ridiculous. Yo, that shit tastes epic, bro. If that's not the most vape thing of all time, Epic with a Q. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. So that was my hour. It's up. I was on a Discord call and played some Mario Kart. Now it's time to do uni work for an hour. Not ideal. Not the most fun part of my day, but it's got to be done. It's got to be done. I'm going to be writing, and it's not even fun. It's just writing an essay. What can you do? You got to do what you got to do out here in the world, right? You got to do what you got to do. Let's change the account to my school account. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But anyway, I think that's it. I'll do this for an hour. I guess I'll time lapse it. Is it even worth time lapsing? I guess so. Then I'll do this for an hour. Then I will. I think I'll probably put a timer on for 2 hours or 3 hours, and then I'll come back to do 25 extra minutes. Because I don't think I'm in a headspace where I can work for an hour and a half non-stop just writing. I mean, maybe, but I mean, we'll see how it goes. If the hour's up and I feel like I could work more, I'll work more. But for now, let's buckle down, get the boring stuff done in life. You'll see I've switched computers. This isn't even though of course the ThinkPad is better for typing. All my resources I need are on my Mac, so we're gonna be using that for now. I think I also need to do something else. I don't remember what else I need. Like something that's not an essay, but I don't remember. Anyway, wish me luck. Not looking forward to it. Might get myself a cup of tea. Might make myself a cup of tea to help me out with this. Actually, that's a pretty good idea. I think I'll make myself a cup of tea and do my essay right now. Or essays. Just touch them up. We'll see what happens. Yeah. For you, that was nothing. For me, that was the longest hour of my life. so fucking boring. Did not want to do it, but you gotta do what you gotta do, and we're not even done yet. I'm not even halfway done with my uni stuff. I don't even know. Hold on a minute. Let me check. Here it is. So I've done 1, 2, 3 out of hold on a minute. Where's my pen? This'll do. So that's 1 done and 2 done, then 3 done. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days of this left, hopefully. And I have 9 days until it's due, I believe. What day is it today? Let's see, let's do some counting. Let's do some counting, lads. It is currently the 15th, it's due on the 25th, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 10 days. So hopefully I can get it done in 6 days, hopefully even less, so I get time to actually make it good. But yeah, that's with like about an hour and a half work each day, hopefully. But again, I don't know how long it's going to take, especially the research section, because it's basically an RNG part of the run. This is a speed run now. It's an RNG part of the run that, like, I don't know how long it's going to take me to research each of these bits. And when I say research, it's not research because I already know it. It's just finding sources, because apparently that's just something you're supposed to do in university. And it fucking sucks. It's the worst part of being alive. No. But oh yeah, did you know? You know how so you have to give sources for any time you make a statement that isn't self-evident, right? Supposedly. You have to, so yeah, if you make a statement that isn't self-evident, you have to provide a source for it. And but specifically they have to be academic sources. So for example, a paper or a journal or a book or something like that, but not like a Wikipedia or I don't know, some guy you met on the street, or for example, say like I did last term when I was talking about Throb and Gristle. Not an interview with the band in a newspaper, for example. That doesn't count as an academic source. It can be a source, but it's not an academic source. So I still put it down, but it doesn't count as an academic source. Or if you were to say, I analyzed this song and then link the song, that doesn't count as an academic source. Even though you analyzed the song and that's how you learned it, that doesn't count because they only value academic sources. The reason they only value academic sources is it's academia's way of keeping itself alive. That academia needs to exist so that you can do more academia to it. If you were able to use any sources from anywhere, that would deny academia its highest place in society that it's established itself as. That's why you're only allowed to use academic sources. So, and it's fucking annoying because they're all books and long as shit and annoying to search through. I hopefully can get it done quickly using the Control F command, but we'll see. But I'm glad that's over. I've done my hour of work. I still have to do 25 minutes more of work today, which I will probably spend writing another essay. I'm not sure though. I'm not sure what I'll spend it doing. But now we're free mostly. But I'm going to call it free until after dinner. Also, one great thing about being in uni is that you can just get drunk and do work. There's no reason you can't. It makes it way better. But I'm not going to get drunk right now because it's too early. But if I want to just drink and do work, that makes it much more bearable. And it's only for 20 minutes or whatever, 25 minutes, I forget. So that should be not such a big deal. But anyway, now it's back to being free. I'm free again. Here's my cup of tea again. What should I do with my newfound freedom? That's the real question. I might watch some anime. I just don't know. Oh, my mum's home now. That's an interesting progression that's happened. My mother got home. I think I will... I don't know what I'll do. And you know what? I'll just put a time lapse on again, and you can watch me sit in the same place because that makes an interesting video, right? This is just me shitting on Corrales and all the Hermitcraft YouTubers who just have half their video be time lapses. It's not entertaining, but I understand why they do it now but it doesn't it's still better to do updates. I'm just doing time lapses as a gimmick. It's just a gimmick so that you can see how pathetic my life is. That I don't move from the same spot. It's a little it's a funny gimmick for this video that has time lapses in it where you can see me not do anything for an hour in the space of a minute. Yeah, there you go. In case you hadn't noticed, there's a bit of shit going down in America right now, of course, and there's a big chanting of defund the police, abolish the police, right? I don't think they're gonna abolish the police, but they may well defund them, and hopefully they abolish them. Now, but there's a key point here. There's a key point here, right? If you abolish the police without abolishing capitalism, what you've done is privatized the police, because in order for capitalism to sustain itself, it needs violence to protect private property, right? And the interests of the bourgeoisie, the capitalist class, right? Of course, there's the violence inherent in the system. There needs to be violence and or the threat of violence, otherwise private property can't exist. Therefore, if you abolish the police without abolishing capitalism, the companies will just have their own private security forces that are probably going to be, equally bad for different reasons, that sort of thing, right? They're no longer dogs of the state, but they still exist to protect them. It's sort of like the ANCAP type of situation, right? Which is it. But you've got this isn't just a crazy pipe dream. Seattle has Seattle has the autonomous zone and shit. Maybe I'll talk about that in a minute. But San Francisco is making the cops way less important, and training a bunch of new people to do mental health workers and social workers, which I think is bullshit. I mean that whole thing of what if instead of cops you had a mental health worker come? What do you think a mental health worker is? They're just a brain cop. They exist because certain people, non-neurotypicals, are people whose brains are significantly different from the neurotypical status quo, that they don't, they can't allow themselves, or they can't, they complain too much, essentially. They complain too much, they don't fit into the hegemony so much, so well, so that's what therapists are there to do, is to either make you okay with being a part of the predominant system, or to shut you off if you're too neurotypical, too neurodivergent, then to lock you up in somewhere where you can't bother anyone else and can't affect the predominant mode of production or ideology or whatever, right? That's what social workers and mental health workers are made to do. They're there to protect capital the same way as the cops. It's not really any different. Hopefully less people would get shot. That would be good, but it doesn't. It's not actual structural change. It's a symbolic change. The same thing as the entire protest of being. You'll notice they didn't target racists. They targeted statues of racists from 100 years ago, because they are more interested in the symbols of oppression rather than actually challenging oppression. Blah 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 blah. Of course, we all know this. Seattle is minimizing their cops. Sorry. Keep saying Seattle. San Francisco is minimizing their cops. Minneapolis is minimizing their cops. Loads of places in America defunding the police, and let's say theoretically abolishing the police, replacing it with private security companies working for corporations and directly the interests of the capitalists. Most people would instantly say that's an awful thing. It's not good, or maybe it's they don't have maybe they'd be less violent. I don't know. But most people probably wouldn't say that's a good thing. But there is one advantage, which is that American cops, they don't take bribes that much. Whereas, and same here. But if you go towards Eastern Europe or anything that's not a first world country, if you go to Eastern Europe or Russia or Southeast Asia or North Africa, the cops take bribes. It's expected that a cop would take a bribe, which means that the law is way more flexible, which is how laws are supposed to be. if you think about it, we have these laws from like especially in the UK, we have these laws from like 500 years ago when it was expected that the law wouldn't be able to be enforced most of the time. But now laws with the advances in technology and the surveillance state, these laws can be applied all the time. That sort of thing, right? Whereas once you have bribes into the equation, which I believe a private security force, a private police force would be more accepting of bribes, you can then, if you have the money, which is obviously to do with your amount of money you have, your class, so it's not an ideal system, but at least it makes the laws slightly more flexible, that if you have the money to pay off a police officer, you can get away with something. And, none of the bribes don't already happen, but generally, now maybe they'll be more common, and that's a good thing. Bribes are a good thing. But let's talk about Seattle. Obviously, this is all a terrible situation, and this is all the fault of the liberals. But whatever. Let's talk about Seattle. So you have did I want to talk about this in the video? I don't remember. You have the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone in Seattle right now, which is an anarchist autonomous zone. Why do they call it an autonomous zone? That's such a weird phrase. It's because what they mean is it's a state. It's an anarchist state, but they can't say state because they're anarchists, and so they're not supposed to have states. But it's a state. It's not really a state. It's trying to be a state, but it's not actually a state. And the reason it's not actually a state is because it doesn't have any strong borders, which is a problem with anarchy. A problem with anarchism and anarchists is that because they're not into borders, they kind of flop. We're going to be talking about anarcho-nihilism right now, so I hope you're well versed in your anarchist theory. I know there's a meme amongst the left that anarchists don't read. Well, I'm about to prove you wrong. So, the anarchists, the anarchists can be essentially put into three categories. The right-wing anarchists, which don't really exist because they're not really against hierarchy, which is kind of the point of anarchy, or anarchism. So that's ANCAPs and hardcore libertarians. So those don't necessarily count. Those don't really count. We can also lump in anarcho-fascists and anarcho-monarchists with them because it doesn't really make any sense. You can't be an anarcho-monarchist. You can't be against hierarchy, but for hierarchy. It's nonsense. I mean, they have their own thing, they do their own thing, but we're not really going to be talking about them because they're very niche and kind of stupid, and it's ANCAPs. You can't really, it's ANCAPs. I don't need to say anything else. And then you have the other two main types of anarchists. You've got social anarchists and post-left anarchists. Social anarchists is sort of your Bakunin, Kropotkin, Bookchin, your type of readers. Your anarcho-communists, your communalists, your anarcho-syndicalists, these type of people, anarcho-liberals, and they are essentially for socialism without a state, or communism without a state, but they kind of fail, and they're very in favour of building. They're very in favour of mutual aid. They do some great things. They generally oppose hierarchy. They do a lot of great mutual aid work. This is the most common type of anarchist you'll see. They're essentially you can think of them as very extreme leftists, like further left than communists, because they go further in their ideology. They're not, but they still have ideology, and that's the key. And then you have the post-left, which is sort of any type of anarchy that doesn't fit into left, that is inspired by left anarchism, but leaves it behind. So this includes a lot of types of anarchism that don't gel. Unlike social anarchists, probably all get on even if they have minor differences in their beliefs, whereas post-left anarchists may have vast differences, irreconcilable differences in their beliefs. So you might have a post-left anarchist could be an anarcho-primitivist who believes in the destruction of technological civilization and post-industrial civilization, possibly even agricultural civilization, versus a transhumanist anarchist who believes in transhumanism. Those two things are irreparably irreconcilable, and so this is why post-left is really an umbrella term rather than social anarchists. You can sort of, or left-wing anarchists, you can sort of lump in together. Post-left anarchists are very broad. You've got Ted Kaczynski on one side and the rest of us on the other side. Post-left anarchism tends to be more less influenced by Marxism and well, still influenced, but critical of Marxism, and more influenced by postmodernists and post-structuralists especially, which a lot of other anarchists are influenced by. They're just like anarchist milieus, like with all these roots of power. like alternative systems of power, not just class, race, sexuality, gender, blah blah blah. But they don't, there's a lot of things they aren't critical of. For example, civilization. Post-left anarchists tend to be more critical of collectivism as well, but not always. Some of them aren't. Some of them. The thing about anarchy is it's especially in the post-left thing, is there a general through line is critique of ideology, rather than okay, I am a Marxist-Leninist, I believe in Marxist-Leninism, Marxism-Leninism, I like this book and this book and this book, I agree with them, and that's my ideology, and that's who I am. Rather than that, post-left anarchists rather see the entire milieu of philosophical and political writings and thought as a sea through which you swim. You take a little bit from here, you take a little bit from here. I talked about this in my video. What's the deal with freedom? What's the deal with freedom? Whatever that video was called. What's the point of freedom? Right at the end of that, I talked about this. That there's this book or pamphlet or whatever. There's a bit of writing, a text, a post-left anarchist text, which has a great phrase: "The supermarket of ideology is fit only for looting, just like any other supermarket." I messed that up, but you get the point. That's essentially the view they take. So you won't necessarily. I mean, anthems are somewhat different because they've evolved into their own sort of sect and their own ideology. But a lot of post-left anarchists will take little influences from everywhere. And also, post-left anarchists are more critical of populism. But what's important here is specifically, a lot of types of anarchism are very interested in creating a new world within the old world, sort of from the inside out. So, for example, the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone is run by a bunch of left anarchists who, and again, I'm critical of left-wing anarchists, but I still think they're pretty good people. Like it's as far as ideologies go, you could do worse. It's had a heart palpitation. Whew. Yeah. So left-wing anarchists that run the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, they haven't really learned from the lessons of the past, and you can tell it's because of their borders. So they have these barricades they've set up, except the barricades are just cardboard signs and shit. So you can look at the actual historical record, for going back to the Paris Commune, even to something very recent like Exarchia in Greece, and you'll find the trend is anarchists, because this is new in America, anarchists occupying a space, but in Europe it happens all the fucking time. Exarchia in Greece was a pretty long-running one. They had some infrastructure set up and stuff, and what happened was eventually they posed such a threat to the current state of things. As soon as the police got pissed off with them enough, basically, as soon as the state saw them as anything that could actually threaten their power, they sent the police in armed, in riot gear, and they just arrested all of them and tortured them for information and shut down Exarchia pretty much, or crippled it by arresting so many people and so many of the organizers. That's the problem with trying to build any sort of anarchy within the current system, is that as soon as it poses any significant threat, it's very easy for the state to come in and dismantle everything. And that is the case with the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. I personally predict that the tactic the state will use is to cut off supply lines, especially, food, water, etc., so that electricity, so that the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone will be forced to collapse under its own weight when they can't produce food quick enough, because they're trying to farm, and I'm glad that they got that as for their priorities, that they were like, let's farm as fast as possible so that we can become self-sufficient, but they don't have the skills or resources to farm enough food for that many people. None of them are experienced agriculturalists, etc. So they're just going to fail, and then they're going to run out of food, and then they're all going to have to walk out because they're going to have, and then they'll be weakened. The police can basically push them out, and the media can spread the story that they tried to set up anarchism, but they ran out of food. Haha! Look at these people, and that they're these infiltrating white anarchists, which is the narrative that's being spread by the media and the psyops right now, that white anarchists are infiltrating these peaceful protests, and look at them, they failed, they couldn't even get food, which is bad press for all anarchists, and then the anarchists are going to be defending them no, but look at all these great great things they did. Look, they have a community garden or whatever the fuck, because they're stupid, because they tried to build something it was too late, it was too early, it was a stupid idea from the very beginning. Now, am I saying the work they're doing is bad? Distributing free food, for example, to people who can't afford it, distributing free housing to the homeless? No, it's all great. For example, there was a group in London called ANOL, the Autonomous Nation of Anarchist somethings. It's a joke. Anarchists have a sense of humour, unlike every other leftist position. And yeah, they occupied a bunch of houses in the very rich part of London and opened them up to the homeless. They just squatted them and let homeless people stay there for free. They eventually got kicked out after a bunch of far right wing neo-Nazis came in and broke the windows and attacked them, and then leaving them basically defenseless when the police came. Because the police and white nationalists collaborate regularly, and then shut them down, but they just moved on and occupied another building, and that's how the ANOL works. They're pretty great, and you know, they have a sense of humor. They have their name is ANOL. It's great. Like that sort of thing is good, but it's not, and it's helpful for the current moment, but it's not. It's still symbolic. It's not the same thing as setting up an actual anarchist society. It's just distributing food, and that's fine and that's great, but it's not super effective in an actual fight. It's not really fighting or attacking. It's very much one small element, and I think it's been vastly overstated by anarchists, especially helping people who like, for example, if you go back to the Paris Commune, one of the main reasons that's cited for the fall of the Paris Commune is that they took the businesses, they co-opt the businesses or whatever the fuck, and the land and the property, and they didn't kick the landlords out, and they didn't kick the business owners out, and then the business owners and landlords ratted to the police. Like, that's a problem, is that they're focused on helping people and empathy and mutual aid. Well, it's just not mutual aid, because you can't. There's no way of knowing that the people you're helping will actually reciprocate. You think they will, you hope they will, but that's honestly a leap of faith that I'm not willing to take. And I don't think it's actually effective in fighting the status quo. It may help a couple of people, I'm sure that's great, but personally, I don't feel like it's a solution to the problem. It's a small bandage, and it's a good bandage. Again, I'm being careful with my phrasing here. It is a good bandage that is helping people, but it's a bandage nonetheless. And this is why, and it's very often ineffective. As I just said with Exarchia, another post-left standpoint, especially insurrectionary and nihilist anarchists and individualist anarchists, so Stirner influenced people, Bob Black influenced people, the Tikkun, the Invisible Committee, Situationists. They one of their important contributions has been a critique of organization, and this is something that Exarchia can have learned from, and something that the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone can learn from, is that they have a small group of people who are organizing the resources. Essentially, you could think of them as a workers' party, but they won't call themselves that, or a vanguard party if you want to be super critical. They won't call themselves that because that would prove that they're not really anarchists, that they're just socialists that are pretending they're not doing state socialism. And the reason that that's bad is that when the state feels threatened, they can arrest a small group of people, each of whom are very closely interconnected to the other important organizers, and the entire system collapses. Whereas someone critical of organization would say, you simply do what you do. Propaganda of the deed, right? There's the legalists. See, I'm proving, this is partly me name dropping different theories, so that I'm trying to prove that the whole anarchists don't read is bullshit. The legalist tendency towards the propaganda of the deed and a bunch of other shit is essentially saying, no, this organizational model is just outdated, especially with the modern surveillance state. If you want to do something, you should simply do very, very direct action. Not direct action as in we get together, we have a committee, we all do direct democracy to vote on how the resources are distributed, and then it happens, blah blah blah. No, that can only last for like a couple months or a couple years. Remember, Catalonia only lasted for like 3 years before the fascists and communists invaded. But Catalonia wasn't even great because they had police and prisons, aka work camps, and it wasn't an anarchist utopia. It was
maybe slightly better than capitalism for the workers, but you know they've still not satisfactory. You could even say it was basically a fucking liberal social democracy or democratic socialism, even though obviously it wasn't democratic socialism because like they didn't get into power democratically. They had a revolution. But it's that sort of system, like, it wasn't that significantly different from the current capitalist model or the capitalist model of the time, or the communist model of the time, the Soviet communist model. So essentially, in the opinion of the post-left tendencies which I have consumed into my critical self-theory is towards a sort of... A tactic known as pure negation. Essentially, it can be put as we are being led to our slaughter. There is no hope. There is no future. This is my nihilist anarchist tendencies. We're talking about Blessed is the Flame and Desert and all those sorts of great books and writings and shit. Anything by Aragorn! ! I think he died recently, which is kind of sad, but yeah, he was a great guy, great writer. And also Bob Black. I personally have interpreted Bob Black to, even though most people don't, I sort of use Bob Black's like ludic example of a life based on play, what happened there, but I take Bob Black's theory of ludism or a life based on play, and sort of combine that with the nihilist anarchism idea of jouissance, that is the visceral human pleasure that comes from fighting power and fighting your own oppression, which it's similar to curiosity or love in that it's a base human emotion, but it doesn't really get taken into account, and that has its own value. And for me, I can combine those two theories and say it has its own value because we should have a life based on play rather than work. You know, the only things that make life good are fucking around and having fun. That's the good part of life. No one likes the work part of life. People like the fucking around and having fun part of life. So why have we built a world that's entirely based on the work part of life with 2 days reserved for the fucking around and having fun part of life? Except not really, because those 2 days are still spent, especially in modern neoliberalism, working, often for free, you know, in your own mind, for the cops that live in your mind. What I'm saying is a system of direct negation. Rather than trying to build a new society which will inevitably collapse, we should focus on negating the current one through sabotage and direct action, and then eventually, once we're standing in the ashes of the current civilization, then we can look around and say what's next, because that's the only time we're going to be able to actually get anything done. And even if we do that, not that will ever happen. Remember, nihilism, pessimism. So that will probably never happen. But the point is that there's no point in if you're sitting there debating like fucking, I don't know, some minor tendency, some minor difference in ideology between two different anarchist sects after they get their power, after they get, how do you organize land or wealth or whatever, how do you redistribute wealth after the thing? Is it too fascist to confiscate land from someone who isn't cooperating, for example? That shit doesn't matter. You're arguing hypotheticals here. It's essentially the same thing as just arguing who would win, Goku or Batman, in a fight. In reality, they're both fictional, so no one would win, because the fight, it's up to the writers, because it's all hypothetical. It's the same thing. It's all your ideology is purely hypothetical. Rather than focusing on your utopian vision of the world, which could never possibly exist, why don't you focus on what you should actually be doing to negate the current system? There we go. That's pure negation. That's anarcho-nihilism and anarchism explained in like 5 minutes. And my critique of the capital autonomous zone, my theories about the police, and I've had a lot of caffeine. I had one more thing to say, I think, but I don't remember what it was. Read Blessed is the Flame. It's kind of heavy. It's about the Holocaust. Oh yeah, okay, so why do I oppose fascism? Why do I oppose fascism besides regardless of moralism? What is my non-moralistic reason for opposing fascism? Even if we assume that the fact that fascism requires the genocide of millions, right? You can watch the Philosophy Tube video, The Philosophy of Antifa, and scroll down into the description. There's a timestamp where he talks about that, like why fascism is bad. That's one. That's like, okay, sure, sure. Let's assume, let's make the crazy assumption that genociding people because their race is bad. But regardless of, that's just moralism, fucking moralism. Why do I personally, for my own self-interest, because remember, post-left anarchists are critical of morality, in general, not always, but I think that way personally, and a lot of people do. Sterner, shouts out. Why fight fascism and why fight conservatives and why fight liberals? What's the point? The point is that there are certain people in the world who are fascists, and I'm not using that in a memey way. I mean literal fascists who want to kill all the Jews and the minorities and disabled and trans and gay people. They want them in camps to be exterminated. There is a bunch of them. They exist in the world. And then those people want me dead because I'm not Jewish, but I have Jewish blood in my family, and fascism tends to devolve into one drop of blood. So if I have even one drop of Jewish blood in my family, I die. Plus I have friends who are black and trans and gay and people of color, etc., etc., who are also going to be killed, and I care about my friends. So that's why fascism's bad. But there are also people who are not, they don't necessarily think, yeah, I want to kill the Jews, but they also think, well, if this fascist party is trying to get into power, I'm not going to actively resist them. I'll just let them into power. For example, the police. The police are bad not because they're bad because they kill unarmed black people all the time, but they're also bad because if a fascist government does take hold, a true, no debate fascist government who is gassing people, the police and the army will follow their orders and continue to enact the law of the bourgeoisie, regardless of, whatever moralisms they may have said back in the day when they were liberal. If a fascist party does take power, which is looking more and more likely in the current world, the police will follow their orders. It's the same thing. They're not necessarily fascists themselves, but they enable fascism. And remember, fascists want to kill me and my friends. They want to actually physically murder me and my friends. And so, therefore, not only do I have to oppose fascism to save my own life and to save my friends' lives and my family's lives, but also I have to oppose the people who are not opposed to fascism, the people who will just allow the fascists to take power and kill me. Those people are also my enemy. I don't want people to just allow the fascism to power and kill me. That's bad. That's why you got to do what you got to do. That's why liberals are bad. That's why conservatives are bad, or your average meme, PewDiePie, 4chan type of guy is bad, because they may not be fascists themselves. They may be, but they may not be fascists themselves. But they won't say anything to stop the fascists from taking power, which is a lot of times very stupid. For example, I know a gay furry Nazi. I'm sure we all know a gay furry Nazi, but a bit stupid. You know what happened to gay people under the Nazis? Not fun. Actually, there is some weird stuff there. Like there were some gay Nazis, like in the SS and the higher divisions. It's weird. It's almost like their ideology isn't consistent at all. Like they imprisoned drug addicts, but also they were, like, the entire upper Nazis were addicted to opiates, and that's why they invented methadone. So it's very strange. It's almost like their ideology isn't consistent, because it doesn't matter. They just want to kill people. They just want to kill Jews and minorities, which is, that's the whole point. They don't have to have a consistent ideology, and the left's main problem is that they're obsessed with having a consistent ideology. You don't need one. Your ideology can be flexible. That's the whole. That's the. You're being held back by the chains of ideology. You must allow yourself to be flexible and embody multiple, whatever is most effective for the moment. Tactical diversity, or whatever you want to call it. There we go. I'm sorry. I had a lot of caffeine. Did I mention that? I've had like 3 cups of tea. I'm having a heart attack. Alright, so I've had a little bit of a breakdown. A little bit of an emotionally intense moment. For no particular reason, just general hopelessness for the world. All my favourite shit is going away. All the stuff I like on the internet is dying. Every YouTuber I like is going to shit. Every website I visit is going to shit. Every community I'm a part of is going to shit. Everything's bad. That's my general analysis, and the worst part is my reaction that I've noticed is I'm bitter about it. Like I see someone who started making a type of YouTube video I don't like, and instead of just being like, okay, well this isn't really the content I came for, so I'm just gonna move on, I get bitter about it. I want you to fail now. It's not like, okay, not really for me anymore, I'll just move on. It's like, oh, you've changed up your style now. I want you to fail as a human being. I want you to suffer. And I'm kind of scared about that part of me existing. I'm gonna have to do some serious self-analysis, psychoanalysis on myself to get to the root of where that comes from and nip it in the bud before it gets any worse. Because this is what comes of being a self-aware adult, is noticing parts of yourself that you don't like, and ideally being capable of changing those parts. So that's my goal now, to understand where that feeling of bitterness comes from. Maybe take it apart, look at it from a couple of different angles. Try and get rid of it. But more importantly than any of that shit, I'm about to make some fucking dinner. It is 12 o'clock at night, 12 midnight. Time for me to eat my second meal of the day. And I think, I'm not going to film, my mum's in the front room, so I'm not going to film myself making it like I did with the eggs, but I will bring the finished product in here for you to all observe and see. I think you will. I've been wanting to share this dish, this haute cuisine with you for a little while, so yeah. Okay, that took a lot longer than I was expecting to cook that shit, but now I finally get to share it with you. Now, why haven't I shared this before? And what the fuck am I talking about? Okay, the reason I've been talking about this is that this is my most autistic meal. It's basically what I like to call nutrient mush. It is, and it looks disgusting, but it tastes delicious. And this is it. As you can see, it doesn't look amazingly nice, but it does taste good. It is sausages chopped into little bits in rice with some peas. The peas are there to make sure you don't die. They're not really there for taste, they're just there for nutrients. Sausages, everything is delicious. And then everything is doused in a mixture of ketchup, English mustard, and soy sauce. And it's all mashed up, as you can see. I actually used short grain rice this time. But it tastes bloody delicious. But it's very autistic. It's just nutrient mush. It doesn't look good. It's not no one. I wouldn't cook this for someone. It's fucking sausages mashed up into rice covered in ketchup and shit. Like, I wouldn't cook this for someone, but I love it. And I would recommend you try it because it is actually really good. Personally, I like English mustard because it's like the most spicy. But yeah, this is my meal, nutrient mush. I will now eat it because I'm so fucking hungry. It was fucking delicious. Definitely got me going, got me where I need to be. Got myself a crunchy chocolate bar for dessert. And now the day can really begin at 1 a.m. Normally, I would start drinking around about now, but recently, like 3 days ago, I actually, for the first time in like 3 months, had a real human being over to my house and like hung out with a friend, and we drank all of my beer and every piece of single drop of alcohol in the house, and what has been bought since then, I've consumed already. So there is no alcohol in the house. I think there's like a tiny drop of wine somewhere, but there's very little alcohol, and so no drinking tonight, which kind of sucks. But I'll deal with it. It's also fucking hot. It's like it suddenly got really hot. It must be because I had the oven on for a while. But yeah, I'm hoping it will cool down soon enough. My window's open and my fan's on, so nothing more I can do. But now it's time for the night to really get going. Play some video games, and then that's about it. Watch some anime, play some video games, watch some YouTube videos, I feel way better now. That meal took a little longer than I was expecting it to. You know, like every element, the rice, the rice and the sausages both took longer than I was anticipating. So I had to like, yeah. So I was very hungry by the time I ate, but we're all good. Now for the best, and this is the actual meal. The joke me and my friend say in real life is after we have a meal, you have a post-meal cigarette. That's the real meal. The meal is just the preparation for the post-meal cigarette. Not that this is a cigarette. I could put this. That's dopamine, my friend. That is dopamine. That is the point of addiction. Worth it. Worth every penny I spend every fucking week on vapes and shit. Maybe no. For a second there I was like, can I have cigarettes? I was thinking, you know, there was the thought in the back of my mind, maybe I should have just gone outside and smoked a cigarette instead of vaping. But now it's way too much effort. Good times, good times. Good times with Scar. Yeah. Now we are, I believe I'm going to play some CSGO. And I'm once again going to put on a timer, this time for like an hour and a half. And then once that hour and a half is up, I'm going to try and convince myself to do some fucking work again. I expected that I would make some music today. Like, when I was thinking of making this video, I was like, yeah, I'll show the process I go through most days. I make a little bit of music, work on music for a while, but having to do this uni work is kind of draining me. I don't really feel any creativity, so I don't really feel like making music, so that may make this video a little less interesting. But, you know what? I could just do the bit of uni work that requires me for making some music, so I might just do that instead. Yeah, I think I might actually do that. Yeah, that's a good idea. I won't be able to get that much done because I don't have 20 minutes or whatever, but that's fine. That's great. In fact, what was this? There was something else I wanted to say, but I don't remember what it was. Oh yeah, I'm probably gonna play some CS:GO. Gotta get your daily CS:GO grind in. Yeah, I could probably record that on the computer. Smart. I could do a screen recording instead of on my phone. You won't be able to hear game audio, but that's fine. Alright, I considered the option of recording this game in full using OBS, screen recording it, just basically making a let's play of this one match unedited, but I changed my mind because I think having to commentate through an entire CSGO match would be kind of like, I'm just not in the mood to do it right now, so I'm going to be starting. I just started this match, and I'm just going to give my progress updates. So I played 2 warm-up matches of Wingman, first of which I got really unlucky with a teammate who started off not speaking English, and then he didn't speak English, and then he vanished. He just left the game, and I was left with a bot teammate. But the bots in CSGO have a really dumb mechanic where you can give them commands. So normally you'll say stay here because when you just die you can take control of the bot. So you'll say like stay here and spawn so that they don't run off and get themselves killed. But half the time the bots don't listen to you. Like they literally have a built-in mechanic that they will either, like when you give them a command, they'll even say they'll say like yes or no or like roger that or yet, like that sort of thing. They can just decide randomly. It's completely random whether they say yes or no. And yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So I got a bot and the bot decided to not behave nicely. And so I got completely wrecked that first game. lost every single round basically. So yeah, but then the second wingman game was much better. We won, we pretty much dominated the other team with a combination of skill and teamwork. And now I'm playing a full match on Nuke, in which people are trying to jump on my head for some reason. Oh, I fell off because it's stacked people on top of each other. But yeah, I think I'm just going to play this match. I may as well time lapse it. It might be interesting to see what it looks like. Time lapse. Oh, well, never mind. This match isn't going to happen because someone just abandoned before the match started. I think that causes the match to not start, but I'm also not sure. And the guy was on the other team, so let's see. Let's find out if the match is going to start. If yes, nope, the match did not start because someone didn't connect. Fun. I was expecting this to not take very long, but now I may as well be entertained for a little bit longer. So far, firstly, I kind of really want to drink right now. Of course, it's like, what? Let's find out. 2:15 a.m. So it's not like any shops are open. I could, as I've done in the past, get up, go to the shops at like 7 and buy booze. See, the trick with going to the shops at 7 to buy booze is to do the counterintuitive thing. You know, they expect if you go in there and you buy 1 can of beer, it's like, you know that guy's about to drink that can of beer at 7 in the morning. They don't know that I've been up all night. I don't, personally, that's a little too degenerate. But if you buy, like a big pack of beer, then it's like, oh, he's just buying it for later. Maybe he has a party or something. Or maybe he just is buying it for the rest of the week or something. Depending on how late I stay up. I don't know how late I want to stay up. Yeah, that's the thing about being me. You never know when you're going to fall asleep. I could fall asleep at like 10 a.m. I could fall asleep at 5 a.m. I honestly have no idea. Considering I woke up at 5, almost on the dot, if we do calculations, that would be 5, and that's 12 plus 13, 14, 16, plus 4 hours, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have to count on my fingers because I'm dyscalculic. Don't make fun of me, I have a fucking learning disability. What did I say, that was 11 or something? Yeah, so maybe I can actually manage this. Get a look at my hairy chest, what do you think? That's what a man looks like. Oh, and I actually spawned on T-side this time. The new match just started out. Spawned on T-side, that's always nice. I get to do my movement. Get to do my movement on the T roof. Yeah, that's the whole point of this game. I'm playing Nuke, by the way. If you like CSGO, it's a match on Nuke. Can't really say what's going on right now. Just sort of big chilling. So yeah, I'm gonna time lapse this, I guess. Let me see if I can find a view where you can see all of me. Might be somewhat entertaining. Like that. Yeah, that seems good. Seems somewhat good. Alright, I'll do that then. That was a good while. Played some CS:GO. Get to talk about my. This is how I watch anime. This is one of the reasons I like CS:GO. Weirdly, is that there's a lot of downtime. But like when you die in CS:GO, you don't respawn till the next round, which can be up to like 2 minutes or something. So you get a few minutes, to just tab out, and fuck around, and do something else. Which is actually how I watch anime a lot of the time. I have anime open on I just tab between whatever episode I'm watching and CS:GO, and it's pretty fun, you know. You get to do both things. Um, so the first match on Nuke that I played, uh, it was fucking arduous. Like we were trading. Like they win 2 rounds, we win 2 rounds. They win 2 rounds, we win 2 rounds. And then one of the guy that was carrying us, my team, he had like 3,000 hours in the game. He was getting really mad. Also, everyone only spoke Portuguese. But the entire rest of my team was only speaking Portuguese, so it's kind of fucked. But yeah, I wasn't playing that great. But except I was like generally playing badly, except sometimes being in a position. Like sometimes, basically, my aim wasn't that great, but my game sense and my positional awareness was very good. So I ended up getting a couple of 4Ks just by because I predicted where they would go and ran there before they could get there, and then like caught them jumping through a smoke or a molly or something. Like one time they rushed A site, but I happened to be right in front of hut door. They rushed through hut. I 4K'd them and like got an assist on the last guy, so very close to an ace. And then another time they rushed secret, and I hid behind the little corner in secret and like massively, because they would have fucking wrecked us since it was like a 4v5. They were all rushing secret, everyone else was on A. They would have instantly got to B site and destroyed us. No one could get there fast enough. But because I saw them, I heard them going outside, so I quickly broke vents, rushed down to secret, hid behind the little corner. Then when I saw the first guy, trigger discipline, let him go past. The second guy goes past, and I only have an MP9, so I spray down the second guy, took 2 headshots from close range. Then the guy that was first turns around and tries to get me. Fortunately, misses all his shots. I managed to spray him down. After this is happening, the rest of the team is sort of hovering around secret, not sure what to do. I'm like, well, fuck, I've got to attack them, because if they attack me, I'm fucked. At this point, I have no more ammo in my MP9, so I switched to my pistol, and pistol one more of them, 2 headshots, and then they finally kill me. So I took out 3 of them and massively slowed them down at secret, allowing the rest of my team to get there and defend the bomb site. Yeah, those were like the 2 big plays I made. Also, I think I hit a pretty crazy shot at one point, but that's about it. Honestly, it wasn't my best game. Aside from those moments, I had like a pretty low a sub 1 KD, like a 7 KD, like 0.7 something. It's not great, but you know, they can't all be winners. Plus, I'm at a decent rank at this point. No, I'm not really at a decent rank. You know what I mean. It was a pretty intense game. Then I was like, even though we won, like we won like 16 or 13, I think, or 16-14. But yeah, there was a couple of good moments, but most of it was just this one guy carrying us and getting really mad. Then I was like, I don't really feel like playing any more comps, so I'm just gonna play some Wingman again. So I played like a few Wingman games. The first one was on Nuke. No wait, that wasn't the first one. The first one was on Rialto. I think I lost. Yeah, the first one on Rialto I lost, I'm pretty sure. But the other guys on the other team were like pretty nice. It was a fair fight. They just outplayed me a few times. Yeah, and it was a loss, but it didn't feel bad because it was like mental chess. We were both trying to outplay each other, and they just out-aimed me a bunch. I had some very atrocious scout plays there. Then there was a second Wingman match on Nuke, which we destroyed them, and got accused of hacking. Both me and my teammate they said we were wall hacking, even though, and that time I hit some pretty sick 1Ds. I hit one specific 1D that was fucking awesome, like second round. Yeah, we lost the first round. Second round, I force bought Deagle, and they had AKs. I don't know how they had. I guess they had AKs and no armor. But yeah, I force bought a Deagle and one tapped one of them. And then, because I heard him stomping around window, so I just went to window and one tapped him. Actually, I didn't one tap the first guy. I like sprayed him down with the deagle. And then yeah, so we just destroyed them, got accused of hacking, they got really mad. The other team was like so mad in the chat, and it was very funny. And then the final game, I think it's the final game, unless there's one I'm forgetting. Yeah, I played on Vertigo, and that was with the same guy that I played on Rialto with from the first Wingman match, and he had a mic this time, and he was talking. We actually lost that game, but I hit some nutty shots. I feel pretty happy with the way I played. It was the other guy the other guy on my team that was playing kind of shit and laying them through, because they were basically doing a split every round, like one goes mid, one goes site. I was holding mid, and every time I would get the guy mid, and then my teammate would die on site, and I'd have to go and try and fucking get site, and it's kind of, just in a 1v1. A lot of those times I should have been winning them, but I was playing, I missed some shots because I'm just not very, like, I don't know, battles on site on Vertigo are just kind of awkward. Like, there's a lot of weird, I mean, it's definitely better than it used to be since they revamped it, but yeah, it's still kind of awkward, especially holding stairs is just really awkward, like the angles and shit. But yeah, mid, I'm pretty good at holding mid Vertigo. So yeah, but we ended up losing. But on T side we were doing pretty well, even though we ended up losing. But it was a good time all around. I don't feel bad about it. But like I played to my best of the ability, and my teammate may have not been playing that well, but in general we just kind of got outplayed. Although we had some cool moments, like and then I also watched an episode of Gochumon wa Usagi desu ka, aka Is the Order a Rabbit, aka Gochi Usa, which is a slice of life show. If you don't know it, it's the most saccharine of the slice of life shows, the most sweet. It's to the point where it's essentially, in my opinion, art house experimental cinema, because it's taking away a bunch of elements that are default to most stories, to the point where it becomes experimental. There's no conflict, there is no flaws in any of the, well, some of them have like, they don't really have character flaws, they just have like gap moe points, like I want to be accepted by my friends. Like, that's not really a character flaw, it's just a cute aspect, and it never causes any actual conflict, because the show has no conflict. It's, in the purest sense, it's cute girls doing cute things. Most other cute girl shows, it's like cute girls do music, they have a gimmick, right? Like, oh, it's a cute girl show, but it's about these 4 cute girls, but they're in a zombie apocalypse. It's about these 4 cute girls doing bicycle racing, or 4 cute girls becoming an idol group, 4 cute girls, I don't know, in art school, learning art school stuff, right? Whereas this one is, the gimmick is technically 4 cute girls who work at a cafe, but the cafe, it never comes into play. There is no, it's basically just an excuse to have them in a uniform, same way as you would have, use school as an excuse to have them in a uniform, so you don't have to have a character designer design them new clothes all the time, or anything like that. It's just an excuse to have them in the same place and in a uniform. The fact that they work in a cafe is basically inconsequential to the plot. It's just cute girls doing cute things and nothing else. And it's strong. It's surprisingly strong. The sort of thing you wouldn't expect it to be that strong. There is an image I found. Let me see if I can get to it. Get to the image. Tempting me to get to the image. I don't even know if I have it on this computer. Let's find out, shall we? No, I don't have it. It's on my ThinkPad. Oh well. well, I guess I won't show you that image. Yeah, right now I've played Counter Strike for quite a long time, and a lot of mental effort. So I think I'm gonna take a break. Might come back to it later tonight. I don't know. But yeah, the problem with my setup is the way I sit on my bed and stuff is like it kind of starts to hurt my shoulder having the mouse like that all the time. If I play for a long time, kind of starts to hurt my shoulder. So or it doesn't hurt, but just like my shoulder gets tired. Like so now I have to go clean up the front room because after I cooked, everything was like too hot to touch, so I didn't put it in the dishwasher. Whereas I've got to go put stuff in the dishwasher now. That's my next task. I have to be quiet because the front room, the kitchen, is like right directly overhead of my downstairs neighbor's bedroom. So yeah, they get very pissy if I'm too loud, which they shouldn't really. I mean, that's my own fucking house, but I don't want to cause no conflict. So yeah, there you go. I'm gonna go clean up. I don't think it'd be very interesting to watch. I'm just gonna be putting stuff in the dishwasher, so I won't bother filming it. But that's my next task. So it is almost 5 a.m. You can tell because the sun has come up. Now, there's a couple things I wanted to say. Number one, the very tiny elements of tiredness are starting to kick in. Like I can feel the tiny elements of tiredness, as in the feeling that I've been awake all day, right? Which makes sense that would happen after you've been awake for 12 hours. Feels like I've been awake for 12 hours. Don't feel crazy tired, just feel like I've been awake for 12 hours. And that is approximately when comfy mode begins. This is where I switch to comfier mediums of life. So I will be watching comfy YouTube videos like this keyboard review by Kairo-san, I believe is how you pronounce his name. Kairo-san. Kairos-ran 22, great YouTube channel, keyboard reviews, very relaxing voice. And such like ASMR videos, these sorts of things. No longer shall I be doing high octane activities like playing CSGO. Although I might, so I might have just lied to you. But we're essentially I'm in a comfy kind of mode. Second thing you may know, or you may have just noticed watching my videos, is that I used to. This is not particularly relevant to today specifically, but I used to sit generally like this. I used to generally have my light off and just the laptop screen wherever possible, especially at night time. Whereas now I have the light on pretty much all day, which is somewhat disgraceful. Some part of me feels like I've abandoned the neat way of life by doing that. But at the same time, the reason I started getting into the habit of having my light off often is because when I used to live at my dad's, my room was basically a small cordoned off, partitioned off section of a bigger room where my brother slept, and my brother would sleep much earlier than me, and so I'd have to have the light off, otherwise he would see the light and wouldn't be able to sleep. And that's how I got used to having the light off, but now it's not a problem. And it's just more practical to have the light on, because there's a lot of fiddly stuff I got to do over here. I got to grab my water, which the cap is broken now. It just snapped off, so this just comes off now. It's supposed to attach to here, it just comes off now, which I drop all the time. So that's one thing I got to keep track of. I got to keep track of my vape, which is very top heavy. It has a high center of gravity, center of mass, and it tips over very easily. Center of mass is about like where I'm holding it right now, because the battery is starts like here where my thumb is. Like the bottom parts are just components, like I don't even know what they are, but yeah, it's heavier at the top,
and it falls over easily. Which is why I don't have my light off all the time. I don't, but other than that, I don't really know why. Like, I just sort of, these days, prefer to don't bother to turn it off. I don't know why. I don't really know why. Another thing is, I actually find this area where the sunrise to be possibly the comfiest time of day. It's just nice. It's just a really nice vibe. It's really quiet, but you got the birds chirping. The sunlight smells good. You know, it smells nice. The air smells fresh and light. It's also the coolest time. It's pretty cool and chill. But there's no loud honking sounds or drilling sounds like there will be in like a couple hours. And the third thing is, so yeah, I don't know why, but I've sort of gone towards just having my light on most of the time. But the third thing is, I still really want to drink. I don't have any booze, except a little bit of my mum's wine. So I may just have to have my mum's wine and then pay her back by buying her a bottle tomorrow or something. But there's not even very much left of my mother's wine. Nor is it particularly enjoyable beverage. I just want a couple beers, you know. I just want a couple beers, which I swear I had. I swear I had 2 beers left over. I don't know what happened to them. I may just have forgotten what happened. Maybe forgotten drinking them or something. Honestly, I don't know. Oh, you may also notice that the window is open but not open because I have this screen now, a mesh, to keep the bugs out. See, I actually normally had my windows closed, but I would ideally prefer them to be open. It's just that bugs get in. But now bugs can't get in because I have a mesh, or it makes it much harder for bugs to get in. Which means I can just have my window open all the time, and that's pretty cool. Surprisingly good. Like I thought I wouldn't like it, but I actually do like it. I think that's. Oh yeah, I've been not drinking enough water all day. I've got a headache now because I haven't had enough water. It's not really a headache, it's just I feel kind of dehydrated. Yeah. Pretty much all I got to say, I think. God knows when I'm going to fall asleep. The thing about me is I can feel very tired but not sleepy at all. Like I can feel very, very tired but not, like if I was to try and lay down and sleep, I wouldn't fall asleep for ages. And so it's quite possible that that's going to happen to me today, that I'm going to get really tired but not sleepy. That's the sort of thing I'm feeling. So I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but I guess we'll find out as the night progresses, or the day progresses technically, I guess. But yeah. It's very weird being me. Not much happens. That was kind of the goal of this. I kind of expected to. I don't know what I expected, but it does kind of show me how little I do in a day. I mean, I got some work done. I got some uni work done. But really, it's kind of sad life. But I'm okay with it. It's not glamorous. It's not a glamorous life, but it is what it is. It's not. That's a good way to put it. It's not a glamorous life, but it's also pretty much fine. Although sometimes boring, sometimes anxiety-inducing. I had a lot of caffeine earlier today and went on a rant about politics and stuff. I'm sorry about that. Didn't mean to put that in the video, but it's in there now because it's part of my day. and that is a pretty accurate description of my life. So I'm gonna keep it in, because that's the sort of thing that I conversations that I have in my head all the time. So I think that's a pretty fair thing to keep in as an average day for me. Yeah, I didn't really feel any inspiration. I don't think I've even picked up my fucking bass the whole day. I haven't actually. I know I haven't. Which is actually somewhat rare. Normally I at least play some bass most days, but I just didn't really feel motivated to today. Which is somewhat interesting. Yeah. I think there was one. I don't know. Maybe there wasn't anything else I was gonna say, and I'm just tripping. Well, that's it. That's basically the day. It's basically the day completed. It is 7:16 a.m. now. Watching. Oh wow, the camera. I really thought the camera was not pointed towards me. Here, watching ASMR. Probably gonna. Basically, to the point where I'm just waiting for sleep to come, and so I thought nothing interesting is gonna happen. I'm just gonna watch some YouTube videos to calm, relaxing ASMR or whatever. So get ready to sleep. Now's a good time to recount what I've achieved today. So we made some eggs. They were really nice eggs. We did some uni work. We did an essay. That was pretty decent. Could have probably worked a little harder there, but you know what? At least I did something, right? Progress is progress. We got a couple of decent shots off in CS:GO. Hit a couple of cool 1Ds, a couple of scout headshots. Missed some really easy shit occasionally, but I got that one 4K on Nuke, so could have gone worse. Could have gone worse. Not nothing crazy special, but I didn't play super badly either. What else did I do? Watched 2 episodes of anime, and yeah, that's basically what I've done. I mean, I watched some educational videos on YouTube and learned some stuff about how projectors work. That's something I learned today. How the intricacies of how projectors work, how to build a projector type situation. Learned some stuff about Linux from Luke Smith about regular expressions. Did a little bit of random ranting about anarchy. I did something else. There was some other educational stuff I watched. Some other learning things I did. But no idea what they were. But they're in my brain now. I can't get rid of them. I learned about Nigeria. And some keyboard reviews. That was cool. Keyboard reviews. Big fan of keyboard reviews. Yeah, overall, very very average day. Oh yeah, and I made the nutrient mush and finally shared that amazing recipe with the world. That nutrient mush was using short grain rice for the first time. Normally I use long grain rice, but I have some Japanese short grain rice, and I have to say it was very good. Although my critique, I could have I overcooked the rice to it was a little mushy. Not that necessarily really matters in this case, since the dish is supposed to be kind of mushy, but could have been a little less mushy, maybe. Not. I don't think it really took away from it though. But maybe more importantly, needed a little bit more mustard. Needed a little bit more soy sauce. Needed to be a little more salty. But actually, it wasn't so bad. Like only a splash more soy sauce, like a tiny bit more soy sauce and a tiny bit more mustard. That's just like. But I wouldn't say it was a negative, the amount that I put in. I would say I actually executed that meal pretty much as well as you can be expected to. Pretty optimal, pretty, not 100% optimized, but a good one. We had a Discord call at one point. That was interesting. I had another Discord call at another point that I didn't record. Yeah, I had a minor emotional breakdown. That was fun. Managed to not drink anything all day. Well, as in alcohol. Managed to hold out with no booze. Yeah, held out with no booze. And that's a day in my life pretty much. I will try and remember to do a quick good night before I fall asleep, but this is basically the end of the video. I have to spend tomorrow editing this. I have another thing I want to edit, but that will be a secret until it's not a secret anymore. So, that's about it. My life is, I live a humble existence. You know, I live a humble existence. A simple life for a simple man.